ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I am finally going to cover a film from Mexico. Yes. Tonight's film is actually from a sub-genre of sorts from Mexico that has always fascinated me. It's fascinated me because, well, I'm a wrestling fan. And a lot of you guys have known this for years. I am a professional wrestling fan. Because, you see, when wrestlers in the U.S. happen to get film roles, they're actually cast as characters. Example, the fucking Rock didn't play as the Rock in the Scorpion King. He played the fucking Scorpion King. You know, Steve Austin plays, I don't know what the hell the characters' names are that he plays in all the different movies he plays, but still, they aren't technically Stone Cold Steve Austin. You go down to Mexico, though, at least back in like the 60s, 70s, and I think maybe even a little bit later on, if they would cast a luchador in a film, that fucking luchador could only play as themselves, which means that if you saw a film and it starred El Santo, it was El Santo playing as himself, or rather playing as the persona he played in the ring. If you had a movie and it starred Mil Mascaras, it was Mil Mascaras playing as Mil Mascaras. It's kind of funny that I mention him because he's one of the 5 wrestlers who star in tonight's film, The Champions of Justice. I would happily try to pronounce that in Spanish, but I know that my Spanish sucks, so I'm not even going to try. Partially because I actually respect the Spanish language a little bit too much, and I really don't want to butcher it and piss off anybody who watches me who regularly or naturally speaks Spanish. So, I really don't know what the hell is going to happen with this. I've only seen one clip from this movie. I think it was from, the hell was the site? I think it was badmovies.org. Yeah, it was badmovies.org. They actually have a full fucking review of it. I didn't bother to read that. I just watched the video clip they have at the very end, where it shows a bunch of these wrestlers fighting against evil wrestling dwarves. I don't know if there's any context to that. I don't know if there's any explanation that's going to lead up to that. The one thing I can tell you is that this movie's about an hour and 21 minutes, and I have not a fucking clue if it's going to be any good. So, and before I happen to get started, if you guys have never been to badmovies.org, I do highly recommend you go over there and check them out. They have some awesome, awesome reviews, and it actually is a good way to find a bunch of movies that you might never have heard of. In fact, I actually found some of my favorite movies thanks to that site. So, plus also a few movies on the wish list I found thanks to that site. So, I actually am done stalling. I'm going to get to the movie itself. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Champions of Justice. Wait a minute, what? So, we have a dwarf in the rafters who's apparently spraying the ring with gunfire. There were like 4 people standing in the ring. 4 people still standing in the ring. The only one he could hit was the referee. Referee's like the smallest target in that goddamn ring, too. What the hell? Okay, I have a few questions about this mad scientist. First one is, why the hell does he have a device that will enhance the strength of a midget, but is only big enough to enhance their strength instead of the strength of the regular-sized people who he has in his employ? A follow-up question, why the hell would you hire a dozen midgets and only 4 regular-sized guys to take down a team of 5 masked wrestlers? So now this guy has now built wristbands that will enhance people's strength. He's still only giving it to the midgets. Dude, you have 4 people of full size who, if you were to boost their strength, they could probably take over Mexico. Why the hell are you putting it on midgets? So, they're basically just whipping around midgets now. That's kind of funny. That actually was sort of cool, in a twisted and bizarre sort of way. Okay, I did not know that you actually could send You actually could send gas over fucking telephone lines. That is definitely new. Wait a minute. Did they just set a midget on fire? I swear, guys, if you actually happen to watch this, it looks like they're setting a midget on fire. That's just a little bit fucked up. Okay, and that is the end of Champions of Justice. I'm gonna just shut that off. So, what the hell can I actually say about the Champions of Justice? Well, first of all, I would like to say, first and foremost, if there's anyone out there who's a fan of the 1960s Adam West Batman series, you will love this film, because it really does seem to take a whole lot of its cues from that. It's really campy, and the fight scenes are goofy as hell. The villain has almost no real motivation to anything he does. The dialogue, at least the fucking dialogue, the way that it was translated in the subtitles, is basically the same kind of corny fare you'd get from Adam West and Burt Ward. So essentially, if you are really into that sort of thing, you will love this movie. But mind you, I also am a fan of that Batman series, and even I have a bunch of questions, because there's a lot of stuff that just didn't make a whole lot of sense. First of all, the ending. The ending is really, really abrupt, and that's kind of sad when you consider the fact that the first hour and like 5 minutes or so is great, and then the last 15, just everything is like really, really rushed. It's like, oh my god, you actually were a spy this whole fucking time, and we have to go and stop him, and there's fire and explosions and a wrestling match in the middle of a lab, and then all of a sudden more fucking shit happens, and then it's over. The fucking ending is almost completely non-fucking sensical. I am still hung up on the fact that our villain, Black Hand, I'm just going to assume that is his name when it's properly translated. I will get to the subtitles I had to go through with this in just a minute. Apparently, he was able to get like a team of about 4 or 5 grown men who he could easily have sent to go and take out his arch nemesis, the blue demon, and his 4 fucking cohorts. But he also hired about a dozen midgets, and he decided to let them do it instead. Which I still am a little bit hung up on. It's like, it just makes no sense to me. The writing here is just basically about as campy and as corny as you will ever see. Because we have everything from freezing people and making them mindless slaves. We have drugging people and making them mindless slaves. We have just everything you could possibly imagine. We have goofy ass car chases. We have really corny fight scenes. In fact, I will say that this film has a huge leg up when it comes to Batman in terms of fight scenes, because Batman never had neck breakers and body slams and drop kicks and other wrestling moves worked into their fight scenes. However, the Batman series also had the comic book sound effects pop up on screen, so it's actually kind of sort of a trade-off. The acting was pretty good. Once again, though, this actually is a foreign language film, and I don't speak Spanish, so I'm just going to assume that the acting was good, because at least from here it seemed pretty good. Now, about the subtitles, I do not know if these were the official subtitles on the DVD that was released in the U.S., or if these were like fan subs, or I don't know what the hell the circumstances were behind these subtitles, but they sucked. Okay. Because I actually can look at the Spanish title and I see the word justice buried in a Spanish term, yet the subtitles said that it was like the fucking Avenging Champions or something like that was the title which they came up with, which I don't know if justice and I really don't know if justice and avenging are actually interchangeable like that in Spanish. I could easily be wrong on that. There actually are points where the subs are in ridiculously broken English, and I basically had to read it and then try to translate it into something that I could actually understand and utilize. Just really, guys, this film was it actually was both good and bad at the same time, and the bad and the good are actually almost equal. So it's really hard for me to solidly recommend it unless you're looking for a corny film. And I do want to say this film starred five wrestlers as the heroes. The thing is that really, to me at least, it almost feels like it was written for only two. Those two being the Blue Demon and Mil Mascaras. That's it. Because we have the other three. One of them is captured and made into a slave. The other two go fucking water skiing. That's it. And they also are involved in the larger fight scenes. But really, they have no reason to be there. And also, just as a note, when it comes to the writing, I do not know if this thing was a sequel to something else, but it almost has to be because of how often they mention the past between the Blue Demon and the Black Hand. They basically are talking about all of this other shit, which basically sounds like it came from a whole other movie. And I don't know if that is the case. Now, I did say that this film was released on DVD in the U.S. It actually was released as a double feature with a film called Mystery in fucking Bermuda. And it actually was released a couple of years back as a way to cash in on the release of the film Nacho Libre. So you might be able to find a copy of this thing with actual competent subtitles, as long as the shitty subs that I had to use are not the ones off of that DVD. You will be in luck. However, you could probably do what I did. You could probably just BitTorrent the movie, and you could just throw on those subs and deal with it. So really, both ways kind of sort of work. This film, it's good, but it also has a whole lot of negatives, which are going to turn off a lot of people. So it's really hard for me to just say go out and watch it. But if you honestly are, interested, or if you happen to be a fan of Mexican wrestling, you might actually get a little bit of a kick out of this. That really is all that I can say about it. So, folks, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.